Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And I wanted to talk about, I've been covering Raid since the very beginning, since 2019. And as we just saw with the Raid Chronicle video, I thought it would be fun to take a look back because there's a lot of craziness that's going to be coming up in the gaming scene with Diablo 4 that I'm super excited about and all of that. So I wanted to have a discussion about how I feel in terms of, do I think 2023 is going to be the last year that I cover Raid Shadow Legends, because I've done 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and I've basically been on camera every single day, either on stream or on video, covering Raid for over 4 years now at this point. So I'm going to let you know where my head is at in relation to everything coming out and the trends of Raid and all of that, and what I expect if I'm going to be covering it still in 2024. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so right now I am grinding the Fire Knight for my Supreme Elhain fragments to get some points, and let's pull up some stuff and let's talk about some things here around Raid Shadow Legends. Now, first of all, as far as the actual Google metrics for Raid, let me go ahead and pull that up for you. So, okay, this is going to be like the Raid Shadow Legends YouTube traffic and kind of interest in videos and stuff like that for Raid over the last 5 years, which honestly, this is pretty impressive. I mean, you see when the game was released, it takes off like a rocket ship because Raid, honestly, it was pretty revolutionary for the gacha scene. It really blasted off with setting a new standard in graphics and being like the dark medieval fantasy spin on gacha games. And you can see that it ended up being an absolute blaster tier of a honeymoon phase where it went all the way up and kind of peaked here a few months after release, like early in the next year. But then what's impressive is you would have expected this chart to kind of look like this and taper off a little bit like that, but Raid has done a pretty good job of maintaining a mostly flat line. It's dropped a little bit, but for how long it's been out, it really is impressive to have a line that close to flat for that amount of time in the gaming sphere. So as far as all that's concerned, there really isn't anything alarming that would warrant, a content creators thinking about getting out of the game or anything like that. But I know for me personally, I'm super excited for the Diablo 4 game that's obviously coming out. I'm a big PC gamer from the my roots in StarCraft and all of that. So I do have a massive interest in Diablo 4, and I'm going to be in a clan and playing that over on my Diablo channel and everything. And look at this. So let's switch this over to like the last 12 months to zoom in a little bit. So look at this graph for Diablo 4. It's looking like it's on pace to be like 10 to 20 times bigger than Raid in terms of YouTube traffic, which is pretty insane because Diablo 4 is not even out yet. But sometimes you gotta take this stuff with a grain of salt because the honeymoon phase can be real and it can be the opposite of Raid. Like Raid came out and then grew into what it became. A lot of these games nowadays, they come out and that's their peak and it's just a nosedive from there. So I want to also compare to Diablo Immortal. So Diablo Immortal online game, and how does that compare? But see, like this is completely different. Diablo Immortal was never blowing up like before. I need a longer window here. So past 5 years. So the Diablo Immortal, I mean, I guess it kind of did, to be honest with you. It did blow up to that level over Raid. So okay, things could kind of settle a little bit, and Diablo 4 could end up being pretty comparable to Raid because Diablo Immortal actually ended up falling below Raid. You can see on the chart that it blew up when it came out. This is when Diablo Immortal came out. Let me actually move this again. Let's zoom in on last 12 months. And right here, this is when a Diablo Immortal came out. It was early June of 2022. And you can see at that point in time that it was, I don't know, about 9 times bigger than Raid Shadow Legends. But it only took, I would say, so from June and then you go, it became less popular than Raid. About right here was where it crossed in August. So it was really only June, July, and then in August. It took less than 90 days for Diablo Immortal to go from almost 10 times more popular than Raid to falling below Raid, and it never caught up. And then where we stand right now, Diablo Immortal's like 25-30% less popular than Raid. And now that it's Diablo 4 instead of Diablo Immortal, we see the same thing happening right here with Diablo 4 kind of ramping up to take off like crazy. And it's going to be a whirlwind for the next 2, 3, 4 months around Diablo 4 as it's in that honeymoon phase of launching and people are super excited about it. But if Diablo 4 is not a good game, it's going to take, 3, 4 months and it could realistically fall below Raid Shadow Legends. But there's obviously other metrics that we want to take a look at, not just Google Trends. So I also want to dive into going over the subreddit stats because that can be a pretty decent indicator on how robust the community is and how fervent people are about discussing the game. And if we look at the Raid Shadow Legends subreddit, we've got about 85,000 members with 600 or 700 currently online. Now, if I compare that to Diablo Immortal, remember Diablo Immortal became like 8 or 9 times more popular than Raid, and within 3 months it cratered to being below Raid. Well, if we look at the Diablo Immortal subreddit, it never got above Raid. Even though it did hit that honeymoon phase of being 8 or 9 times more popular than Raid, the subreddit was never more popular than Raids. It was never bigger, and there isn't even anywhere near as many people online. It's 300, and Raid is at almost 700, even though Raid's been out for way longer than Diablo Immortal. That's a really bad sign for Diablo Immortal in terms of long-term sustainability of the community. But then if we look at Diablo 4, it has already surpassed Raid's subreddit with almost 93,000 members. Raid is at 85,000, and Diablo 4 isn't even out yet, and there's 4,000 people currently online discussing the game. Raid Shadow Legends has 678. So because of this, I do think it's going to be a little bit different with Diablo 4. I think there's going to be a little bit more teeth in Diablo 4 in terms of community fervor on discussing things. I think the raw numbers may have been a little bit better for something like Diablo Immortal because it's a mobile game and it's free. So you're going to get like these millions of people that just download it for 15 minutes and want to try it. But Diablo 4 is going to have a sticker price. It's going to be that normal AAA game where you've got to pay $70, $80 to play it, which means you're not going to get like the swath of millions of people that are like, it's free, I'll download it and try it for a little bit. And I actually asked the AI to lay out what are the top 25 PC games of all time. And it gave me this list here where we see Diablo 3 at number 5. Now, this is as of like a year and a half ago or whatever, so it's not perfectly current with today's, but it gives you just a quick rundown of kind of what to expect in terms of all-time PC gaming. And no matter what metric you look at, Diablo 3 is going to be ranked somewhere like number 3 to number 8. So obviously a top 10 PC game of all time. And that's why I think Diablo 4 is kind of showing it's going to have a lot more sustainability to it, and it's kind of blowing up at a different level than we saw with something like Diablo Immortal and kind of its way of competing with Raid Shadow Legends. So all in all, this is a little bit of the content that I like to dive into every couple weeks or so just to monitor the popularity of different things happening in the gaming sphere. And obviously on this channel, put it into context on how it compares to Raid Shadow Legends. And as content creators, it's always important for us to monitor these trends and figure out what the best route of action is going to be on our channels. Now, obviously, I love Raid Shadow Legends. I really do. It's been an opportunity for me to meet a lot of really good people and a lot of really good friends to work with and people that are going to be friends of mine for my entire life, regardless of if I keep playing Raid or not. But I do still enjoy the game. I get a lot of comments and you get a lot of questions from people when you're streaming and stuff like, hey, do you enjoy the game or do you just play for a paycheck or something? And I can only speak for me, but no, I genuinely do still enjoy the game and enjoy the community. If I didn't, I wouldn't play it anymore. When I switched my Diablo channel to Diablo Immortal, I quit Diablo Immortal within like 3 months because I wasn't enjoying it. I could have kept cranking out videos and just trying to farm as much views and money as I could on the way out. But once I was emotionally uninvested, I was done. I was out. I didn't just try to farm it for views or whatever. So no, I do still genuinely enjoy the game. And when I don't, I will bow out. But to answer the question of the video thumbnail and the title, it's been a long time. And do I think that 2023 is going to be the last year that I cover Raid? As of right now, I would say probably no. I would say I will probably still be covering Raid in 2024 because we don't see a serious competitor to Raid. Like we would already be hearing about it in the beta. We would be hearing about things coming down the pipeline if there was a true raid competitor that can actually stand toe to toe with them or take them down. So, my workflow is probably always going to be something like playing whatever the best medieval raid themed gacha game is, and then also playing whatever the best Diablo game is, or best ARPG is, because I really enjoy the mobile RPG gacha aspect, while also at like night or whatever besides that playing the favorite ARPG going on right now. So yeah, all of you that have been viewers here and supported the channel over the last few years, I definitely appreciate you. It's meant a lot to me, and it's looking like I'm not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, because the metrics still look pretty good for Raid, and I'm still having fun playing the game and all of that. I'm also working on maybe doing a collab with other big creators in the sphere and talking about what they think about Raid and Diablo 4 and all of that, because we've got some big gaming releases, and just kind of touching base with some people and seeing how they feel as well after a few years playing the game and all of that. So stay tuned on that front, and remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. I will see you soon in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.